I love boxing. It's one of my favorite sports. It seems that Rima is closely monitoring Papo and his new relationship with Clarissa Shield. Abong. A few months ago, Remy and Clarissa got into a heated argument on social media, displaying their clear animosity for one another. If she does anything, we assume Remy will dump him for someone who says they don't care about his past activities. Breaks up with Papoose after being dog-walked by his new girlfriend, but she still seems to be in love with him. Rumor has it that Rooney's romance ended after he was in prison for shooting someone in 2008. But fans are still shaken by the drama between Rima and Papo because they were one of the strongest couples in hip-hop. And it felt like they would endure anything. Now that both parties are accused of cheating and Remy is accusing us of being developers, it's like, how did we get here? Papoose stayed faithful throughout Rima's more than 6 years in prison, free from scandals, rumors, infidelity, or anything else questionable. His unwavering devotion made the relationship seem unbreakable, and fans couldn't help but admire it in Hollywood, where devotion is as rare as a corn every other week. His actions actually seem like a fairy tale, but Papoose stuck to his principles like a rock, telling Remy how much he cared in a way that made him a legend in the entertainment industry. Now, Remy claims that he cheated on her while she was in prison, so at least that's what we believed. They celebrated the birth of their daughter in 2018 and recalled how Papoose had 3 children of his own, and Remy already had a son from a previous relationship. Despite this, they blended their families together beautifully, demonstrating their strong bond, or so we all believed. But by 2023, there were rumors that their marriage was about to end after Remy was accused of cheating with rapper Easy, the Block Captain. The once unbreakable love story began to appear much more doubtful, and the drama didn't stop there either, as they attended an industry gathering. Papoose and Easy got into a heated argument that quickly escalated into a full-fledged physical altercation. Without hesitation, he reportedly knocked Easy out cold, grabbed the microphone in the heat of the moment, and dropped a bombshell that left everyone stunned on the ground. The situation escalated to a new level of craziness when he accused Remy of cheating on Papo. Rap battles are verbal battles, and no holds were barred to your mother, and Gotti wasn't back either. As anyone who has seen one knows, I don't give music ain. Rock for black love. And it seemed like everyone had been discussing the situation in whispers for a minute when Daddy dropped the bomb, making everything seem like an open secret. However, Gotti did not simply level the accusation and move on. Instead, he drove Remy through the mud for cheating on Baloo after being faithful to her for all those years. The crowd erupted when he made it clear that, in his opinion, she had abandoned the man who had stood by her side through thick and thin. This was not just an accusation. It was a verbal takeover interview in which he expressed his admiration for her. After all those years of dedication, it turns out that Papoose wasn't going to sit by and let him go through heartbreak. According to rumors, he ended his relationship with Remy because she had an affair. But instead of getting involved in the scandal, Papo quickly moved on and took a new girlfriend, professional boxer Clarissa Shields. The shocking thing about all of this is that he basically confirmed the claims without making any effort to dissuade them from being female. And he's possibly still alive because I still have the female. When it came to standing up for her rights, Remy seemed cool, uninterested, and completely over the issue. Many claim that she is acting rashly, insulting people, and going insane, and she has even hinted that she is ready to throw hands when the time comes. I firmly believe that sometimes people need to fight it out, because talking doesn't always work. In some situations, you could talk to someone and they express how they feel, and you both come to a mutual agreement that you either don't agree or you might start seeing it from another person's perspective. When it gets to the point where deal with people who like how I used to be, I don't even want to hear that. I don't care how you felt. What's up? What's going on? That's where I come in. She said you haven't had a fight recently. You really aren't ready for this work? She said it's natural she doesn't. She doesn't have to. I don't even like talking about fighting. Sometimes people get K&E and put hands on them. I love boxing. It's one of my favorite sports. I never imagined she would stop there. But a few days ago, she attacked Papo and Clarissa on Instagram by posting a text message that Clarissa had given that he said, "You were the one who was married and you accept responsibility. The fact that you came home shouldn't be a huge concern if you can't at least spend the night with me over the phone or in person." Papa's dumb self refused to leave, and while Clarissa Shields was lying in my house, she appeared to be asking Papoose to tell her the truth about clowning her forward riding and that it was safe to talk. "Because you've dozed off in the Sprinter." When she heard my voice, she became frightened and hung up. I apologize, but she didn't stop there. I'm telling everything. Clarissa Shields' public relations team has been spreading false information about me for far too long in an effort to paint me negatively and him as God's gift. Pap should have issued a statement to stop the story, but he insisted that the best course of action was for me to keep quiet. "I'm tired," he said, and he said he would never fuck you because you're ugly. Don't worry, even though I saw it all. Now that you're such a tough boo, the world will see it. However, Clarissa didn't stop there. According to this New Yorker, Clarissa was furious when she learned that Remy had made her public by blowing up Papa's phone. "I'm not worried about anything," she said, "but don't worry, you have your other phone now. Let's put her in her story for some background." I said that as a professional boxer. Clarissa shouldn't be made public for dating a man who is still legally married, especially since Rye has been disclosing personal information about her. She wrote, for example, "You were a dummy, Miss Shells. And I took a picture of it had been 17 years since this woman had cheated on him to try to ruin me. With one of his chicks, the same woman who might have exposed you using my platform. He was holding me down." Sidebar Remy kept leaking more texts, but he was about to imply that he was the author of my rhymes. Presume that if anything private breaks about me, it's him because he threatened that too. Saying, "I'm not happy, but all right, I'm going to stop because I don't want to stress you out any more than you already are. I can't thank you, but it's always the right thing to do." The Remy clown Clarissa for this quote. "Hello, Miss Shields. Just because I am a woman with just one spouse, I am a respectable woman with only one lover. So Mother Earth won't merely continue. He is a taker rather than a giver, and I am the one with the bag, so he will never buy you anything since he thinks he is the prize. I am not your enemy. I'm actually happy, which is why your partner is furious. Please stop playing." She appeared to be fingering Papoa, and even though you claimed to feel foolish, she was acting like the victim. Bri Pap's final response to her was that, rather than handling this as civilized adults, she would have wanted to clout chase on social media. And I didn't want to add to the social media idiocy. He went on to say, "You are lying about history in front of the world. And I will never have anyone imprisoned again to protect my 6-year-old child who has to go to school. I am fabricating text messages that you claimed were from 10 years ago, and you are the one who plays with the police by making up a story to justify infidelity actions. As you can see, I have stayed silent throughout it. Last Christmas, I was at home with my daughter, and now that I've moved on, this is where Remy was. He kept acting narcissistic and angry and fabricating lies. I suggested that we get a divorce like adults, but she refused. The accusations that Remy had cheated on him with his friend Easy prompted him to respond. And everyone saw him slumped in the fetal position the last time I saw him after I knocked him. Remy roused him unconscious and took him home for 4 days. As you can see, I brought my daughter home, but she couldn't handle it. I still got her messages telling me to lie about the knockdown so I wouldn't lie and say I didn't punch this chump out, but what's the point? Remy responded to the accusations that he left their child behind on Christmas by saying, "No matter what I do with my baby on any important day, all you do is lie to make yourself appear okay in the background." Remy shook my hand and then slept with my wife, which is why I knocked him out. Not because he slept with my wife, she said. You plan to leave with the public outcry? But I've been begging you to leave and let's have a private divorce for years. You know, I'm not the social media type, and you use my morals, which date back to my early years. And the image of the so-called gang, the girl against me, when I film? She also revealed that she struggled with gambling and that Tread had tried to coerce her into paying for a quick divorce. Don't talk about the real you. My stupid ego told them that you would do whatever it takes to preserve the impression of black love that I helped you create. Remy, I'm going to call the police for assistance. I was saying you are a rat and a snitch. Call your brothers, Joe. Approved of the lies being spread about me, including the number of my friends and family members you detested. The fact that I started a battle rap, and the fact that I was upset because I was supporting other rappers. Over you, she added, hinting that he was jealous of her success and his support of other rappers. You even said that you would try to destroy it, pushing my family and me away and making us uncomfortable. I've had enough of the fake knockout story, which everyone knew about except what they saw, and you claimed that it would go away. But in reality, you came and went like a nighttime robber in an MK, and my security officer recognized you because he knew you were going by buying. You also helped spread a false narrative by feeding battle rappers into the stories about my company and forcing me to attend the awards with you. She accused Papoose of assaulting her and being violent, and she pleaded with the police about it. Things got really serious from here. You didn't realize that the pool's renovation was never completed because you were in the garage when the workers called the police. The audio and video are misleading, you guys. And even though they have long maintained the public perception of being the ideal black couple, it seems like this has been a heated disaster, and I'm not even sure if I want to stay in the chat longer. To be honest, everyone has a lot going on, but you can only keep it up for so long before it breaks down. Here's Remy, Papoose's weirdo girlfriend, wishing me a happy new year. She posted screenshots of Clarissa in her direct messages, indicating that she and Clarissa had been friends before Clarissa began flirting with Pat. After a few days, was being severely abused by this woman, was giving me ridiculous advice about how to flaunt her body by praising you when I knew it was appropriate, and remaining silent when I knew the truth. Clarissa said bluntly, I can't at this point. I'm tired of being supplanted. I'm not your adversary, but I'll simply respond, you're 29. And I'm not aging like wine again, even though I'm not 45 yet. This week, Clarissa exposed Jay Lee for fabricating the text to get into trouble, saying, you're not a bully. You're bitter and mad, and you're making yourself look stupid. She didn't answer his phone because he was with his collie girl, not because she had already tried to expose Pat for betraying her. Put an end to it. She stated that Clarissa Shields versus Rem M on February 2nd is not the first cup, but it's still February, so get your ass whooped and crash out. However, she didn't challenge Remy to a fight, and when the second date finally arrived, Remy declined to fight Clarissa, which makes sense given that Remy is a fierce woman. However, Clarissa, a boxer with professional training who also practices mixed martial arts, would have wiped the floor with Remy behind. Additionally, she seems very focused on keeping their friendship intact. Even if she says she is done with P, it shouldn't come as a surprise that her relationship with the captain of Easy of the Block is also not going well, and that there are claims that he is already cheating on her with other women. In addition, Papoose is reportedly already shopping for a ring. But he hasn't held back in flaunting this new music boo, Lissa, who has been open about her relationship and stated that she is ready to marry him. That's why I said I love him, and I love having his support. I'm curious about your thoughts on the matter, but given that Remy admitted her mistake with Papo and had a legitimate reason to consider it, I'm sure she's crying and throwing up after watching this video. Also, the way he speaks to me and other things are very different from what I've had in the past. There you go. We deserve each other, but I don't know. It's kind of one of those things I was like, I want to keep them all to myself. I didn't really.